Explosive town hall meeting in Loudoun County, Virginia. This was just unreal about critical race theory. Now, this went into chaos tonight, and it led to at least 2 arrests, 2 parents on the front lines of this fight, and the video that you will not see anywhere else. Next.
You're teaching children to hate others because of their skin color, and you're forcing them to lie about other kids' gender. I am disgusted.
Tonight's school board meeting in Loudoun County, Virginia was unlike any in recent memory because parents were there railing against critical race theory that, of course, is poisoning their kids' education.
Today, instead of focusing on the hate that seems to be dripping off the followers of Jesus in this room, and from their kids in our schools, I wanted to take the time. Oh, wait.
Let them reveal who they are. Let them be damaged by their own words.
We ask again that you respect each other and everyone is allowed to speak.
The Western culture and values that brought forth Christianity in the founding documents are being called evil and racist.
You're not the captain, we're your bosses, and God willing, we'll return most of you to the private sector very soon. I'm reminded of the tyranny of communist China, where your money is legally stolen and then used in government schools, not public schools. These are not public schools, these are government schools, like here, to indoctrinate children against their parents.
My child is not oppressed. And don't assume that. As long as you Marxists push your unconstitutional agenda on my child, she will not be returning back to Loudoun County schools.
Now, the school board's response was, I don't know, straight out of the leftist tyrant's handbook. They shut it down. They shut this down. Then they called the cops.
And the county taxpayer pays your salary.
You guys are actually supporting the suppression of people's rights.
John, are you refusing to leave at this time?
Yes, I'm refusing to leave.
Kids too. Deputies, please arrest this individual for trespassing.
Joining me now are 2 parents who were at that school board meeting. Ian Pryor, Executive Director of Fight for Our Schools, and Amy Jarr, a Loudoun County parent, who she says she herself was almost arrested tonight. Well, Ian, explain how police end up declaring a school board meeting where it looks like people are finally getting their say, and people agreed, disagreed. It was quite feisty at times. But how is that an unlawful assembly?
Well, actually, you know, it was the superintendent of Loudoun County Public Schools that declared an unlawful assembly. So we kind of put the sheriff's office in a very tough spot. But, you know, this is what we've seen from this school board time and time again. You know, they had about 10 or 15 speakers that we think they gave the jump to sign up. And then it was like 30 speakers that were coming out, talking about their issues, exercising their First Amendment right. And God forbid somebody applauded. Now, applauding is a First Amendment right. There was no, you know, there were no issues with clapping here, and they shut it down. And we knew that they were going to do this. They tried to do it in the last school board meeting. Look, their motto is silence the opposition. When they hear voices that they don't agree with, that don't align with their activist friends or the special interests supporting these school board members, they shut them down.
Amy, now explain what happened with you, because I'm glad you're on the show tonight, because that means you weren't arrested, but you almost were?
Well, I did tell them that I was going to be on this show tonight, and it would be a great opportunity to be interviewed from prison. But they said that probably wouldn't happen. No, they, you know, honestly, tonight was our school board meeting on steroids. But it has been typical like this all year, silencing us every time we try to speak, every time we try to write emails. They don't answer us. It erupted. Emotions were high tonight, for sure. It was the last school board meeting. There were 250 people signed up to speak, and they shut us down right after Dick Black stood up and spoke. And he is a retired senator here in Virginia, Republican senator. And as soon as we all erupted in cheering and applauding, she shut it down. She shut it down, and they said it would be done for the night, which is not true. I actually just checked in before I came on. They are still continuing the board meeting. And as a matter of fact, right before I came in here, they were actually applauding the superintendent and the 9 board members that are there were applauding for new hires that were being discussed at the meeting. Now, there were people, of course, who tried to smear, malign the parents who were really concerned. What?
In seeing some of the people that were bussed in today, I can't disagree with any of the slogans or images that I'm seeing. None of the purported solutions help any of the people they say they're fighting for, making those arguments disingenuous. These are superficial constructs that in the past have been used by political powers to divide this country.
And their attempts to discredit you guys, it shows how effective I think your movement is. Bust in? People were bussed in? Is that what he was saying?
That's amusing. You know, look, we got word last week that the political party out here was going to be bussing people in, that the AFL-CIO, Planned Parenthood were all going to be showing up to this rally. Parents have been showing up to these school board meetings for a year and a half. You know, exercising their First Amendment rights, talking about opening schools, opposing critical race theory, standing up for teachers who had their First Amendment rights infringed upon. We didn't need to bus people in. And in fact, you know, they made all this effort to sort of have this rally. And at the end of the day, it was still 3-1 parents in Loudoun County that are going out there and standing up for their children. And, you know, they can keep trying, they can keep busing people in or holding rallies outside, but we are not going to stop. This is the wokest school board in America. It's also the worst school board in America. And we are not going to stop until we get a seat at the table.
Now, one of the parents called out the school board officials for some of their rather shady online activities. Watch.
I was called to action when I learned that best friends of mine were put on an enemies list created in an attempt to silence and intimidate parents by members of a private Facebook group that 6 of you are members of. And now we know that there is a second Facebook group in which 7 of you are current members. Looks like we need to print some more petitions.
Amy, why are they part of this secret Facebook groups? You know, what are they hiding?
I don't know. It's been their tactic this whole year. We've known they've been in those Facebook groups. We've taken screenshots. It's really just kind of coming to light now. We've FOIA'd a lot of information as well, too. As a matter of fact, we just found out that one of the school board members, the one who was censured in March, 2 days after the night of her censure, she was doing Facebook search. She was doing searches on her Loudoun County Public School issued device for Ruger guns, how to load them, how to clean them, how to shoot them. And we just found this out. And that was on the heels of listing 7 parents who she thought was responsible for censure.
All right, Ian and Amy, these school boards have to be taken back, seat by seat by seat. Until that happens, you're just going to have to keep fighting day in and day out against this indoctrination. But that scene looked like something out of, you know, Hong Kong pro-democracy protests, people being dragged out of there. But we appreciate your perspective. Thank you. And a U.S. District